Yeah, Simon Townsend's Wonderworld episode 338/1 on XC9852, recorded 13 May 86, transmission date 26 May 86 in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and Adelaide.
Hello and welcome to my Wonder World. Milking cows. There's two ways. You can milk by hand or you can just whack on a couple of automatic milkers. But milking by hand looks easy. But for city boy Brett Clements, it was a bit of a handful. Yuck, yuck. You've not only got to have the teats in your hands, you've got to have the knack. Within the next few minutes, you're going to know how to milk a cow just by watching. Watch.
Hello, country bumpkin. Fresh as frost out on the pumpkin.
G'day gang, BC here on possibly the toughest assignment of my career. I've been sent out back into the bush to milk a cow by hand, and they say it couldn't be done. You see, it is all in the wrist action. All you do is squeeze. You sure that's all you do, just squeeze?
Do the shake, do the shake, do the shake, do the shake, do the milkshake, the milkshake.
It's all in the wrist action. All you do is just squeeze. You beauty, it works. It actually works. Look.
Do the shake.
Why is it? It's empty again, is it?
No, it's full.
You reckon it's as simple as ABC once you get the feel of it? How do you get the feel of it?
Well, it takes time.
How much time to learn to squirt it out like you're doing it there?
A day.
A day and you can be as fast as that?
A couple of milkings.
Yeah?
It takes a quarter of an hour, 10 minutes to a quarter of an hour to milk a cow by hand. That's if you're going to give, say, 5 gallons of milk. This cow would be given 6 gallons of milk a day.
But you see, when I squeeze it, nothing comes out.
I know, but you've got to let the thing fill again, see?
Right. So squeeze it, then let it fill, and squeeze it again.
I've seen some sights, but man, you're something. Where'd you come from, country bumpkin?
Well, speaking from first-hand experience, it's easy to see why cows have been milked by machine in Australia for the past 50 years. And now we're going to show you the easy way of milking these portable milk bottles. It all starts bang on 3 o'clock when all the cows come in from pasture to line up for milking. Milking by machine is not only easier and more hygienic, but faster. About 50 cows can be milked in this fashion an hour. The cow is simply washed down and wiped, 4 suction cups are hooked onto the teats, and a pump does the rest.
Moo, moo, Jersey cow, have you any milk? Yes, sir, 3 buckets full.
The milk runs through an overhead pipe where it's cleaned by a series of filters, and it winds up here in a big refrigerated vat where it's stored before pasteurisation.
So long, country bumpkin. The frost is gone now from the pumpkin. I've seen some sights and life's been something. See you later, country bumpkin.
Delicious. I'll be right back after a short commercial break with a record breaker who is simply mad. He even collects mad things. A group of herons is called a siege, a colony or a group. Well, the answer is siege. A group of herons is called a siege. Today's record breaker is Dylan Pocock, and he says in his letter, Simon, I'm mad, crazy, zany and ridiculous. I must be, because I'm mad for mad magazines and games. I collect mad things like they're going out of style. Good on you. For you, my mad friend, I have a copy of the Guinness Book of Records. And just take a look at this amazing picture. This is the 5 hairpin bends on Lombard Street in San Francisco. And there you can see them, 5 hairpin bends. And it earned the nickname the crookedest street in the world. They really are sharp bends. Right, human beings love falling through the air, whether it's dropping down by parachute or falling into bed. That wonderful feeling of just passing through the air, almost like flying. Maybe that's why the sport of diving attracts so many people. A few bounces on a diving board and then a moment falling through the air and splash into the soft water. Here's Edith Bliss.
In the sport of diving, there are 2 types. There's high diving and there's springboard diving. With high diving, the platform is a solid, fixed construction that's about 5 metres above the top of the pool, and the pool underneath must be at least 5 metres deep. I feel sick. Springboard diving is performed from a flexible board which is usually positioned about 3 metres above the pool. The flexibility of the board enables the diver to experience a little bit more of the sensation of flight. Has been coaching pupils in diving for years now, and an impressive array of medals and ribbons won by his squad members showed just what a good teacher he is. The squad's training includes a session of stretching exercises to warm up their bodies before they start doing their dives, and for the beginners, their training in the water starts with simple jumps from a little mini trampoline, and that helps build up their confidence so that they can go up to the higher towers. Oh! Can you teach anyone to become a good diver?
If they really want to and they've got a sense of application, yes.
Are some people more natural divers than others?
Yep. Small people, limber people, gymnastics, trampolinists, that all help.
Yeah. Is it a dangerous sport?
Generally, no, but sometimes you have our accidents like James.
James, how did you end up like that?
Oh, silly mistake. Took my arm in the wrong way.
Is it dangerous as a sport then, if you can do that to yourself?
It's not dangerous at all. You do what you're told and you don't get hurt at all.
Are you scared about diving again now?
No, I'll be back in the water in about 8 weeks.
You're keen. Have you ever done a belly flop and felt how much the water can sting your tummy when you hit it? Wearing a wetsuit is a very good idea for novice divers because it takes away any chance of them hurting themselves, doesn't it? Oh, I feel so nervous. Well, I'll just put my best foot forward.
Not quite like that, Edith. I'll be back with a story on a food stylist. That's someone who makes food look deliciously appetising in a picture or on a screen. What's happening here? These Aborigines have stripped the bark from a tree and they are making a boat.
It's the world we live in.
woolen sculpture? Nope, it's a Commodore dog, and if you look very carefully, you can just see his nose. What a wonderful dog. It's time for a music clip, and this one is by the Venetians, and it's basically black and white with lots of coloured graphics and drawings, musical instruments flying past the band. Every now and again you'll see one of the members of the band in colour. It's superimposed on top of the basic black and white set. It's very clever, and the song is called Inspiration.
What does it mean? Don't beat those counts. Don't touch those strings. Don't follow me. Are you well? You say so. Say I see. You look around. Don't ask a question. It's all I have. It's a part of me. Hey. Inspiration goes in my head. La 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 la. It comes out of the blue. La 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 la. Inspiration goes in my head. La 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 la. It comes out of the blue. La 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 la. So now everybody everywhere, explain on you. Inspiration goes in my head. La 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 la. It comes out of the blue. La 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 la. Inspiration goes in my head. La 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 la. It comes out of the blue. La 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 la. Inspiration. Inspiration.
Venetians. You've heard of a hairstylist who prepares a person's hair and makes it look good. But have you heard of a food stylist who prepares food and makes it look good for the cameras? All that food that you see in magazines and recipe books, in television commercials and so on, it has to be styled just right. Now, reporter Hugh Munro finds out all about the job of a food stylist.
The art of food styling is more than just cooking food. Now, their job is to make sure that every photograph looks good enough to eat. Bravo! Oh, macaroni!
Oh, you're the new Italian chef they've sent.
No, I just came in to find out why you like your job so much.
I like it because it's creative, because I can make a picture, and I work with very nice people.
But it all looks so delicious. Do you cheat at all in your pictures?
Oh, no, I never cheat. Some people cheat, but we just work very quickly.
Just picture a great big steak, fried, crushing or stewed. Oh, food, wonderful food, marvelous food.
The photographer and the stylist have to discuss the layout of the food, the way it's going to look in front of the camera, even things like which bowl they're going to use.
Okay, what about this bowl?
No, I prefer that one.
But
I think that'll...
We've used that one before.
No, but we'll get it from a different angle. It'll look better with this one here too.
The food must be set up so that it looks best for the camera. The hot lights can dry out the food, so oil or water is added to make it look fresh. A reflection of light from steam or a wet tomato segment can add just a touch of brilliance to any photo.
First, you have the plates set up where they should be, and then at the last minute you put it onto the plate so that it's not overcooked and it's not tired.
And what about ice cream? How do you stop it from melting?
Well, you have to have it very cold, and usually you have the plate cold, and some people use dry ice.
Yeah, and all the food, do you eat it afterwards?
Well, sometimes it's not very edible. See, I've got my hands through this now.
This particular shot is going inside a recipe book, so the photographer will put a cell like this one inside his camera so that he can actually see the writing around the food as he takes the photograph. These Polaroid shots are used to see just how the final picture will look. They use these gels with words on them to put over the Polaroid, and from that they can see how it will look. Unwanted parts of the picture can be cropped or cut out. These are called colour boards and are sent back to the food stylist for checking and a final okay before being printed in the magazine, which comes out looking something like this.
What is it we dream about? What brings on a sigh? How peaches and cream and cloud, 6 feet high.
Fantastic job. Now it's time for a report from one of the many news hounds out there. And today's news hound is Geoffrey War, and he reports to me, Simon, I must be one of the very lucky people in the world, as I have 6 cousins who are pictured here with me. We have a great time together, and well, I have to admit, we do make an awful lot of noise. Good on you. Just for you, Geoffrey, and your 6 cousins, this magnificent rocking horse. Isn't it fantastic? It comes from the Rocking Horse factory in South Australia, and it's made of solid pine, which makes it very tough so that it can take an awful lot of rocking and knocking about. It's hand-painted, has a high gloss, it's non-toxic enamel. Looks really terrific, doesn't it? And it's strong enough you can even give your mum and dad a go. I'm sure you'll love the gift, Geoffrey. And later in the show, you're going to see a lot more of these rocking horses, and I'll be right back after this break.
Simon loves to reply to your letters, but remember you must also send a second envelope. And this second envelope must have your name and your address on it. And it must have another stamp on it too, if you want your photo returned by Simon.
The Australian sugar glider can sail through the air for up to 110 metres. Amazing wildlife in this country. Here's a Butte story about a horse race like you've never seen before. The town of Gumaraka in South Australia is famous for, you mightn't believe this, Gumaraka is famous for rocking horses, just like the one you saw me give away in today's show. Now, Gumaraka has a rocking horse factory, and it has this gigantic rocking horse, and now there's a rocking horse rodeo. And you'd like to know how they can stage a rocking horse rodeo. Here's Wednesday Kennedy.
For those of us who are too fat to be jockeys and too terrified of horses to enter the Grand National, there's always the rocking horse rodeo. Good thing.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
The Rocking Horse Rodeo is the first ever to be held in Australia, and Gumaraka in South Australia, which is famous for its toy factory, decided to hold the event to celebrate their rocking horse. You're one of the 3 teams competing in the Rocking Horse Rodeo. What skills do you need to be able to win the Rocking Horse Rodeo?
Well, you need strong thighs and a padded backside, very long legs and a lot of padding.
Do you think your team will win the Rocking Horse Rodeo?
Oh, yes, for sure.
Why?
Our horse is better trained and bred.
Rocking horse riding is a team effort. 4 people pull the horse along while the jockey concentrates on staying in the saddle. And after the race, the presentation of the trophies.
I'd like to congratulate you on winning the first ever Rocking Horse Rodeo event.
Thanks a lot.
Chris Hook, who has been a rocking horse enthusiast since he was a young lad, will be rocking 4 days, 84 hours to create a world record for the first non-stop rocking horse. Chris, how long have you been rocking for?
Well, basically, ever since I could walk, I got the urge to rock, and it's gone from there.
What inspired you to create a record?
Well, one day I was reading through the Guinness Book of Records, and we got to the rocking chair entry, and there was no rocking horse. So it just struck me as a violent urge to rock a horse.
Chris, what breakfast cereal do you eat?
Get on your pony and all right.
This is the toy factory where the famous Gumaraka rocking horses are made. 300 rocking horses are made and sold here annually. A rocking horse is made bows or rockers first and seat last. So rocking horses are born feet first. What happens to a baby rocking horse when it grows up? This is what happens. It turns into a 23-tonne, 18.3 metre monster. And from up here, you can see the whole of the Gumaraka Valley.
Gumaraka, isn't it terrific? What did I say? It's Gumaraka in South Australia. Fabulous place. That's the show for today. Now, I'd like to show you just something before I go. This is a cutting out of an American magazine. It says here, Rare Bear. This cute and cuddly looking creature may look like a stuffed toy, but it's actually the only known albino koala bear in the world. The incredibly rare bear, 3 years old, was found in the wild and now lives at a game preserve in Australia. Of course, they're not bears really, are they? Koalas are just koalas. But what I'd like to know is, where is this koala? An albino koala. Never heard of it. But they say it's somewhere here in Australia. Maybe someone out there will tell us, and we'll go and do a Wonder World story. Thanks for being with us today. Please come back and see us again tomorrow. And don't forget, the world really is wonderful. Bye.
The Lone Ranger. Fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver. The Lone Ranger. Hi-Yo Silver! Away! With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early West. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. The Lone Ranger rides again.
A dog walked into a milk bar and ordered a strawberry milkshake. Then he finished it, walked up one wall, walked along the ceiling, and walked down the other wall, and then out. The man sitting next to him said, "Gee, that's really strange." The bartender said, "Yeah, he usually orders chocolate."